What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are basically going to continue our coverage over the Thunderbolts, and we actually pick up with Volume 2. Now, remember, this is Green Goblin's team, Norman Osborn, because after Civil War, basically, the American government felt like they needed a law as a way to control the heroes and villains across the world, which is that if you're going to be a hero, you need to register under the new law. You must tell the government who you are, what your powers are, all the different secrets you have. Now, of course, you have some heroes all like, no, I'm not going to work for the government. I'm not going to follow that law, which of course led into the American government taking the Thunderbolts team and basically making it a team that goes after characters who are breaking the law. And we saw that in our first two videos of Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts. Now, the reason why Norman Osborn is in charge is because, well, he has shown signs that he's no longer the Green Goblin, meaning that he is sane. Now, the only way he's making sure that he stays sane, it does not turn back into the Green Goblin, is only if he takes the medicine that was given to him. It keeps the Green Goblin persona away and for Norman Osborn to act like he's completely normal again, even though he's not. And this team is also a bad team. Like, yes, you do have interesting characters, but the team he put together, they don't work well together. And so this volume right here continues to show the idea that this team is going to fall apart sooner or later. And when it does, there is a possibility it could all come back to Norman Osborn. Now, of course, we all know it won't because this takes place before Secret Invasion and also Dark Reign. But either way, though, right now it seems like if Norman Osborn fails to lead this team, all of this could come back to haunt him and possibly do some harm to his life, but also all of his money as well. But either way, here's Volume 2, Cage Angels. Now, to begin today's video, we actually do pick up with a couple pages where you do have a bunch of different news articles, or news reporters, talking about the current status of the world right now in Marvel Comics in this book. How right now you kind of have the public split in half, where you have some people who actually did support Captain America in the Civil War, but you also have some people who have supported Iron Man as well. And so it's showing that right now the public is also split, like the superhero community is as well. Now, on top of that as well, you do have other countries having concerns about the idea that America could possibly send their superheroes to deal with other problems from other countries in those countries. And so right now you have the American government trying to tell the world they will not use the superheroes as soldiers in wars across the world. Now, of course, another problem is right now the people want to know about the prison that's right now in the negative zone. Because of course, when it came to Civil War, one of the things that was established was there is a prison inside the negative zone. And that prison was basically made as a way to hold people with powers. And right now, the public is also finding out about that. And it seems like the public is not happy about the idea of this prison being in the negative zone. Now, after that, we actually do pick up with a meeting going on between Norman Osborn and Moonstar. Now, this meeting is actually very important. And the reason why, because you have to remember, Norman Osborn basically made Moonstar team lead of this team. The problem is, though, she got injured in one of our earlier videos. And so Songbird had to take over as team lead, something that both Norman Osborn and Moonstar don't like, because they both don't like, of course, Songbird. Now, Norman Osborn also tells us that apparently a certain kind of therapist is going to come by to talk to Penance. Now remember, Penance is a character who kind of was involved in the beginning of Civil War, because Penance was part of a team called, I want to say, Secret Warriors, but they went after a guy named Nitro, and Nitro blew up, killing 600 people. And so when it comes to Penance, every single needle in his suit is a way to represent a death in that incident that basically led into the Civil War. Now, of course, ever since that incident, this dude's mind has been broken. And so Norman Osborn have been giving him doctors as a way to work on his mind to hopefully make him better. Now, of course, somebody else is going to come by to do their own kind of test, and that is Doc Samson. Now, of course, Doc Samson is one of those Hulk characters. So basically, he's very strong thanks to gamma radiation. But either way, he is a therapist, and right now, he is going to come by to actually talk to Penance, because in our last video, Penance went crazy, talked crazy. And so, of course, a lot of people are very concerned. Now, Norman Osborn have been giving Penance a lot of doctors. Hopefully that one doctor would be enough to actually break this kind of mind state that Penance is in. But of course, the American government is going to send their own guy, Doc Samson, to kind of run his own test to see if Penance is actually fit to be on this team. Now, Norman Osborn and Moonstar have been giving Penance a lot of doctors, hoping that one of those doctors will be able to clear his mind. Now, of course, you do have a doctor actually call Norman Osborn and say that Penance's mind state seems better, and right now Penance is going to go and get some fresh air. Now, that concerns Moonstar, and the reason why, because the way outside is down a certain kind of hall. In that hall, you do have a lot of other prisoners in there as well. And that is the moment, as soon as Penance and his doctor continue to walk by, well, of course, you have some of these prisoners calling out to Penance to say that he is a child killer, because something else also happened in that incident at the very beginning of Civil War, where, of course, Nitro blew up. He did kill 600 people, but 60 of those 600 people were children. And so as Penance and his doctor are walking down this hallway, you have these guys basically calling him a child killer, because they blame him for letting Nitro blow up, killing those kids. And so with the death of those kids on his mind again and being called a child killer, you have Penance actually lose control of his powers. Now, of course, this does lead into the moment where you actually do have Penance just go crazy. He's literally going crazy, causing havoc all over the place. And of course, his powers make him a very strong opponent. And so right now, it seems like these prison guards, these prisoners, they're really kind of screwed right now, because there seems like nothing could possibly actually stop Penance before he actually gets away, or worse, cause a whole lot more death where they are right now. But that is the moment you actually have Norman Osborn able to shoot Penance to knock him out. He shoots Penance with a blast to basically knock him out. Now, after doing that, you have Moonstar say, listen, do not let Doc Samson work on this man, because if you do, we're going to lose our best card, our best play. Because when she looks at Penance, you actually do have Moonstar say he can be our Hulk. How powerful he is, he can be our Hulk in a way. But if Doc Samson comes here, Doc Samson might actually try to block those memories to prevent him to go crazy again and to be our Hulk. But of course, you have Moonstar say, don't worry, I can undo anything that Doc Samson does to Penance. Now, we actually do pick up with the Thunderbolts team going after a character known as Kendra Price. Now, she has been around for a very long time, but she only appeared about like 10 books, and that is it. And some of those books are actually U.S. agent books. But either way, though, the team was sent here as a way to capture her because, of course, she broke the law. Now, of course, you would think we would get another big battle, but that is the moment you actually have her say, I give up, take me in. which of course confuses the team, but they realize they just got an easy target. They just got their first capture without any kinds of problems, which is a great thing to say. Now we actually jump over to Las Vegas, and the reason why, because we actually do pick up with a random character who's right now walking into the police department. Now, of course, this character name is Mindwave, which of course he's able to make things explode and move things with his mind. Now, of course, the reason why he is here is to actually cause a problem in this police station, to the point he knows that they're going to call the Thunderbolts in as a way to arrest him, because he is not registered like other people are in the world, which means he has to get arrested, which is a very huge thing. And so after causing a scene at the police station and of course finally calming down, he says, okay, you're going to call in the Thunderbolts next. Like he wants to be captured by them actually. And so getting into the second chapter of this storyline, we actually do pick up with Doc Samson actually arriving at the Thunderbolts Mountain, of course, the base that belongs to the Thunderbolts. But when he does arrive, of course, you have Norman Osborn security forces kind of making it hard for Doc Samson to actually get inside the building. But once inside, continuing to make it hard for him to actually see his patient. Now, of course, you do have Norman Osborn appear. And I like what Warren Ellis did in this storyline right here, which is that you do have these flashes of images where, of course, Doc Samson is actually attacking Norman Osborn. Now, it's not really happening, but it's what Doc Samson wants to do to Norman Osborn. But, of course, he doesn't. But with that being said, though, you do have Doc Samson asking to see his patient. Now, of course, that is the moment we actually do see a mini conversation going on between Moonstone and Doc Samson. And I do want to mention that these two characters have fought against each other before this storyline right here, way before. And of course, they don't like each other, but they're both therapists in a way. Now, Doc Samson does not like Moonstone because he feels like she is a bad therapist, especially when you have her tell Doc Samson that they had to subdue Penance earlier because he had a very violent episode, which was true. But the reason why that episode happened because he was being picked on and reminded for the crimes that he had committed. But either way, though, you do have Doc Samson get very upset with the idea they had to subdue Penance. Now, of course, when he's actually able to see his patient, which is Penance, that is the moment he sees Penance is locked down, guns pointed to him because, again, he had that violent episode. But with them having that violent episode and being tied down or locked down and guns pointed to him, it makes Doc Samson very angry with the idea that his patient is actually locked up right now. And so you have Doc Samson get upset. And again, we do see flashes of images where he does attack Moonstone, but he doesn't. Because again, it's what he thinks he wants to do, but he doesn't. This is actually going to be very important for this storyline. But of course, he does ask Moonstone to leave the room just so it be him and Penance in the room so he can have a conversation with Penance. Now, when this session actually begins, you have Doc Samson kind of tell Penance that, you know, they have met before. They actually have met before. They kind of had a small adventure, but he's also here because Iron Man had asked Doc Samson to come here to basically check up on Penance. Now, with that being said, this is Doc Samson wanting to help Penance by kind of getting over what he did back in Arizona, which was a cause of the Civil War, the death of 600 people, because you have Doc Samson remind us when it comes to Penance, Penance was out there on a team and they were using cameras. They were acting like they're a popular team. They were trying to be all super cool and stuff, but it led to them being childish, which led to them actually causing the death of 600 people. And so it's kind of Doc Samson saying, yeah, you were someone who had the girls, the fame, the money, But because you had all of that and you let all of that go to your head, you weren't an actual hero. And so 600 people died because of your mistakes. And so at first you're kind of like, Doc Samson is kind of like attacking Penance in a way. He's attacking him, picking on him, saying it's all your fault. Now, in the middle of this actual conversation, you actually do have the Thunderbolts arrive back at the base, which of course we come to find out they have captured Mindwave. Of course, the bad guy at the end of our last chapter, who just attacked that police department and just sat there. Like after he basically destroyed the place, he just sat there asking for the Thunderbolts. Now, of course, you have Songbird tell Norman Osborn when they got there, he didn't fight back. He actually gave up and let the team take him in, which to Norman Osborn, that is weird. And the reason why, because this is a guy who attacked a police department and he just gave up. And he makes the second person in a row who just gave up so easily. And the question is now, why? And so you have Norman Osborn say, there's a pattern happening here, and I don't like it. But getting back over to the conversation or the therapy session between Doc Samson and Penance, you actually do have Doc Samson take this session and actually make it even more unique. And the reason why I say that, because you have Doc Samson telling Penance what he kind of needs. Something or some way to let that anger out, to basically take all that anger he has pent up inside of him from his past mistakes or his current mistakes, and being able to use that pent up anger and release it on something. And of course, you have Doc Samson say, use it on me. You can attack me all you want, but you can't hurt me. Which is kind of true, because again, Doc Samson was hit with gamma radiation. He's not a full Hulk, but he does have powers, and he basically can take a lot of damage. And so this is Penance kind of using the words that Doc Samson is saying, which is right now kind of mean. But of course, it makes Penance so angry. And so even though Penance does attack Doc Samson is able to take the attack like it's nothing and be like, hey, I see your problem. You need some way, some kind of idea to let your anger out. So why not let your anger out on me, which of course you did, and it shows you cannot hurt me actually. Now, getting back to Mindwave, he actually is very important because we do see him being thrown into a prison cell. Now, when he's thrown into a prison cell, of course, that is the moment we come to find out what Mindwave and the other character was doing earlier when they just gave up and let the Thunderbolts actually arrest them, which was that there were two other characters as well, but we're seeing them right now. And again, they all were just captured and thrown to prison, but of course, they did not put up a fight. And the reason why? Because their goal is to cause havoc inside the actual base of the Thunderbolts, to kind of, one, kill them off, but two, kind of show the world that this team is a ticking time bomb. And they're here to set that bomb off and explode, to make so many different problems. And they have the ability to play with different people's minds to cause more problems, to set things in motion, to bring the whole team down. And so they're attacking the team from the inside out. But then at the very end of this chapter, we actually do see Norman Osborn going over to his desk, where of course he does open up his desk. And when he does, well, that is the moment he does see something inside the desk. And of course, that something begins to make him freak out. And that something is the mask of the Green Goblin. The mask of the Green Goblin is inside his desk. And of course, it's Norman Osborn at this point in his life trying to move away from becoming the Green Goblin or being the Green Goblin. And so to see the mask in his desk, he begins to freak out. And of course, that means he's beginning to slip even more to possibly becoming the Green Goblin. Now, of course, you do have Norman Osborn begin to freak out. And technically, he has the right to freak out because He just saw the mask of the Green Goblin inside his desk. And of course, it's something that he is trying to forget. It is something that he's trying to move on from. And so to look inside your actual desk to see the mask of a person or persona that you're trying to get rid of course you're going to freak out, because the medication that you were given as a way to help you forget that thing is apparently not working. And so you do have him freak out. You do have his assistant walk in. And of course, she's kind of like, okay, I'll go and leave and try to find you some more harder medicine. But when Norman Osborn looks back inside the desk to see if the mask is still there, of course, the mask is not there. And of course, he's kind of like, oh my God, my mind is slipping. I'm beginning to become the Green Goblin all over again. But then we actually pick up with Venom. Now remember, Venom is not Eddie Brock. Venom on the team right now is Mac Gargan, of course, the Scorpion. Now, the reason why I'm pointing that out right now is because you actually do have Mac Gargan kind of going into the showers as a way to relax, I guess. But that's the moment he's actually kind of verbally abused by the actual symbiote suit, where of course you have the symbiote suit kind of tell Mac Gargan that he does not deserve the suit, that basically Mac Gargan is kind of like this baby, like just a spoiled brat or some kind of character that does not deserve the actual Venom suit. He's not strong enough, not brave enough. He's weak. He's fragile. Like, this is the Venom suit actually saying these things to Mac Gargan. And of course, it's Mac Gargan kind of freaking out. And remember, in our last video, Mac Gargan's mind, because of the Venom suit, was already on thin ice. Like, the dude was kind of falling apart. And now having the suit actually talk to you in that kind of way makes things even worse. And so it's Mac Gargan like, okay, the Venom suit is just, making me go crazy. Oh my God, I can't do this. I cannot do this at all. Now, to make matters even worse, that is the moment you have one of the main jets that the Thunderbolts actually use blow up. Like, it just blows up. And of course, that is a very huge problem, because you're talking about possibly an attack happening on the inside of the base, which of course we know that's technically happening right now, because those four characters, Mindwave and his fellow characters, they all been planning this. They want to bring down the Thunderbolts from the inside out. And so right now they're doing that. They just blew up one of the jets that belong to the Thunderbolts. But with that happening, of course, you do have Songbird and the Radioactive Man trying to basically, stop the flames, stop the place from being burned down. But while doing that, of course, here's the big question. Where is the rest of the team? Where is the rest of the Thunderbolts? Now, of course, again, remember, Songbird and the Radioactive Man are technically the only two sane people on the entire team. Everybody else is just flat out crazy. But of course, Norman Osborn cannot help out. And the reason why? Because he's in his office in a corner just shivering while wearing a Green Goblin mask, telling us that his mind is falling apart. He is becoming the Green Goblin once again. Now, we do get reminded that, hey, don't forget, Doc Samson is right now doing a therapy session with Penance, and that is still going on. And so, of course, you do have Doc Samson realizing that something is going on in the base, and you would think he would be a hero and try to figure out what's happening right now in the base. But he doesn't care, because he hates every single person in this place except one person, Penance, his actual patient. So he's kind of like, whatever's happening out there, the Thunderbolts can handle it themselves. We're going to stay inside here and basically talk to one another. And he does that. He said, we're going to stay here and we're going to talk to one another while your teammates figure out what in the world is going on. But that is the moment things get even worse, because we actually do pick up with Venom. Because right now you have Venom just basically going crazy because the actual symbiote suit has taken over the body of Matt Gargan. And so you have the Venom suit just going around actually eating people, ripping off arms. Like the Venom suit has gone completely crazy. And that is a huge problem now, because now you're talking about another problem for the team to handle. Your boss is in the corner basically shivering and crying. You have two team members trying to stop a fire, and now you have Venom just eating basically security guards left and right. Everything is falling apart. And of course, that was the main point of this storyline. Watch this ticking time bomb for this team actually be set off. But let's not forget about Swordsman. Now remember, Swordsman, this is the second Swordsman. This is Andreas Strucker, and he's actually a mutant. Now when it comes to Andreas Strucker, his powers only activate when he's actually touching his sister, his twin sister. That is how their actual mutant abilities work. The problem is though, his sister is dead, and so of course he's unable to actually use his powers like he wants to, which of course being close to his sister. And so what he did was, and this is how messed up this whole thing is, this dude actually took the skin of his dead sister and added to his handle of his sword as a way to kind of activate his powers. Yes, he did that. Now, the reason why he's on the actual Thunderbolts team is because Norman Osborn had promised Swordsman that he'll basically make a clone version of his sister to give over to Swordsman. But of course, Swordsman could not be patient. Swordsman wants that clone body now. He wants his actual sister alive now. And so it's him saying, I am going to get what I want. And so now you have another member of the team just going crazy. So now the whole Thunderbolts team is basically falling apart. This is what they're trying to do. They're caged in, but of course, they're able to mess with the team left and right. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.